Today, I think I'm a human. Yeah, but many people knows my robot. You know that this is the Android. This is not my picture. You understand, right? I hope you know. This is also the Android, and recently I have developed this more looks creepy and robots, but however, you know, this works very well. You know, I try to convince tonight, and actually this is the robot, right? And the title is a human androids and medias, but you know, my purpose is not just develop the robot, but you know, I want to study the human itself, and I want to develop more kind of a media, okay, not mechanical robots, but you know, I'm quite interested in the media like computers or in a mobile phone or something like that. Right? So, my concern is what is humans. So, you know. This question is very important for everybody, right? And we can share. I believe when we are sharing these questions among all areas, all research areas, or you know, the areas for the daily jobs, like you know, for example, the media people. You know, why they ask so many questions about me, about my robots, you know, because they are interested in humans, okay. And everybody is working for the humans, and everybody, you know, they're interested in humans. Therefore, you know, I really think, you know, that we are sharing this very deep, important questions. Therefore, you know, and we robotics researchers are developing technologies, including, the technologies for understanding humans. And this is, you know, this is the constructive way for understanding human. This is not a little bit different from the analytical ways like neuroscience and cognitive science. But this is another very way to understand the human itself. In the near future, I think you know, we're going to have this kind of the robot world. But I'm not sure, you know, you agree with these ideas. But you know, I have many, the reasons why I believe in this kind of features. Because, you know, our brain is designed for recognizing a human, not for computer, not for the, you know, this kind of a black box, right? You know, our brain is designed for, you know, our function is all brain function for recognizing the human, not machine, not computers. Right? Therefore, if we have the very rich technologies, enough technologies for building this kind of a human-like robot, definitely we're gonna develop, you know, this kind of robot, the human-like robots. And already we are running the field tests with that kind of you know, interactive robots. Here, the 4 robots are working. This is a real shopping mall in Japan. You know, 2 years ago, I have developed this system, and 4 robots are guiding people and providing some information. You know, and this is very practical, right? Yes, well, why not, right? And then this is more, you know, this is not. I guess that this is also the, you know. Practical, but you know, what we are doing here is our robot is talking with the visitors and then Ashimo. And you know that this robot, you know, developed by Honda. And Ashimo is bringing a coffee and a tea, right? So we are ready for starting this kind of a robot cafe. Okay, but the problem is, you know, if we start this robot cafe now, the price of a coffee will be maybe the $100, right? So if you pay the $100, you know, I'm happy to start this robot cafe for you, right? But however, you know, if you order, well, for example, the 10,000 or 100,000 Ashimo, the robot, they're going to be very cheap, much cheaper than car, right? Then, you know, we're going to see this kind of a robot cafe everywhere, okay? So maybe you know, we're going to see the robot Starbucks or something, right? But you have to realize that this kind of system, you know, we need to build another you know, intelligent system. That is a sensor network. So here we are using many cameras and the laser scanners, and then, you know, the system is you know, the robots are tracking all people and you know, analyzing the people's behaviors, analyzing the facial expressions. So because of this kind of a very rich sensory information, you know, the robot can provide the you know, very stable and safe service to the people. Okay. Anyway, so the sensor network and the teleoperations. Actually, I didn't explain the trick of this one. Actually, the operator is operating the robots. But just one operator. Just one operator can operate maybe up to the 10 robots. Okay, because this is a combination of teleoperations and autonomous functions. So anyway, we don't need to hire so many people, right, if we have a robot, right? Just one operator, that controls our robots by using the autonomous function of a robot. And then, well, anyway, so by integrating the sensor network and the teleoperations, and then we're gonna, this combination to provide a very practical solution for the robots, and we're gonna use a robot those robots near futures. And once we develop the real market with the robots, our company improves the robots more and more, and we're going to have a totally autonomous system in the near future. So that is a story, right? And that kind of things happens already. Okay, in 1999, I have proposed this very simple robot. This is also the teleoperated robots, and it's a combination of a Skype or that kind of a TV conference system and a mobile platform. This is quite simple. And I proposed the 1999, right? Maybe 13 years ago. But today, these years, in the U.S., several venture company they started to sell this kind of a robot. Okay, and people are using this robot in a daily. In a daily purpose and something, for example, having a meetings in California. Okay, suppose the person is living in Texas and attending to the conference in California, right? They're using, these robots already, So I would say the teleoperated robot, already, is on the market. Okay, and then, if we improve more and more, we're going to have this, this robotic world soon. Okay, I hope you could understand what I'm talking about. But that is not my main purpose. So far, I seriously talk about the future of robotics, but of course, it's important to think about that kind of a serious future with the robot technologies. But the robot is not just for that kind of the things, but the robot is something more. Right. So as I said, we can understand the humans by building a robot, right? So I'm interested in that kind of aspect more. So how we can do that? So what I want to say is that probably we should carefully consider about the human likeness. Okay, that we want to see the more human-like robots because we have a brain for recognizing humans. Okay. Probably ideal robots or ideal the partner for the human should be a human. Okay. Therefore, and then I have found many important issues are missing in research. For example, the appearance, human-like importance of the human-like appearance. We didn't carefully study about that. How about the human-like movement? So we want to have this kind of a robot? No, we want to have more, we want to see the more human-like movement, right, for the robot. And how about the perception? Okay, the robot has just a hard shell, right? But we want to have a more soft their skin, okay, like this robot, right? Right. We don't like to touch to this, the hard, a kind of hard shell, right? And the robot needs to talk like humans, and then if a robot is getting very complicated like this, this is the most complicated robot in the world, and I spend actually about $1 million US Australian dollar for building this, the baby robot, but the once we got this very, very complicated hardware, we cannot apply the traditional control theory. We need to develop the more human-like control theory. But anyway, so I'm trying to develop more human-like robots. But at the same time, I need to understand what is humans more, right? And once we got this robot, so we use this robot for understanding humans. Okay. So robot and humans getting closer and closer, and then they will someday, that we're going to have a better understanding about humans from both approaches, robotics and maybe the human science like neuroscience and cognitive science. So let me introduce a kind of, just a couple of my research result. The first question is, okay, we have many questions, but I want to pick up just a couple of questions. The first question is, how much human likeness does a robot need to have? Okay. Well, in order to in order to study these questions, I have developed here, right? And recently, what I have developed is he is a very famous storyteller, comic storyteller in Japan, and he's also the national treasure. Okay, but he's getting old and he cannot play the storytelling anymore, right? Then I and his families and his sponsor, they discuss to make his android, right? But because he's a national treasure, we need to keep his professional storytelling work, right? Right? And now he's ready for dying. We have Android. This is much better. This Android can play his professional, the traditional, the comic storytelling forever, right? Right. So this is another way of archiving. You guys, the digital archiving. So this is the archiving of traditional the storytelling. And another example or practical use of Android is show windows. What is the ideal show window? Okay. So the role of a show window is to show the elegant future life. But what you are watching in a show window is a mannequin. So you think you're gonna be a mannequin in the near future? I don't think so, right? You wanna, I think you can understand what I'm talking, right? So you wanna see the humans in the show windows, right? Many years ago in France, they used the human model for the show windows, but human cannot stay in a window so long, right? Right, and then I found the ideal solutions. If we put the Android here, right, and we can have a perfect show windows. Actually, this is not static, the robot, static Android. This is the reactive Android. So you can check the YouTubes. And actually, we have the sensors here. The sensor is monitoring the visitors' behaviors and tracking the face and taking the very complicated reactions. This is a kind of a joke, but the Android has a smartphone here, and she's doing a Twitter. And eventually, this was a 2 weeks event. And she got the 1,200 followers, right? This is not so bad, right? Probably she has a more stronger presence on the net, maybe stronger than you, right? How many followers you have? Okay, and then we got the big success in Japan with the show window and the activities, and then we got another offer from Hong Kong, and we did a little bit similar things, but this time we removed the windows, okay, but we put many flowers in front of Android, and we did almost same things. There is a sensor here. Android was taking some reactions, but in addition to that, Android was singing a song, right? And this is a kind of idol, right? So please check on the YouTubes, right? And again, you can see this many the videos from the activities. However, the problem was Android cannot talk like this. Okay, so here probably it's easy to replace today's myself because I'm just talking. Right? This is not interactive. Okay, and I can use my Android for giving this kind of lectures. Right? But the problem in the Q&A, right? The natural the conversation is quite difficult, right? The question is how can we develop the Android that talks like a human? Probably it's impossible. Therefore, what I did is I have developed this, the teleoperated system, and this is a hybrid system. Okay, so some human-like movement like eye movement and shoulder movement. they are autonomous, but the head movement and the lip movement and the voice, they are teleoperated. Okay, the operator is here. So today we are bringing the identical system. Okay, so this is the teleoperated robot. There is operators behind of this screen. Okay, and she's operating by using the personal computers. And here, there are personal computers, and the operator is monitoring there are two monitors. One is for the visitors, the other is for the Android itself. And the tracking, right? And the camera system is tracking the head movement. If the operator moves the head like this, the Android head moves like this. And the voice, and the operator is speaking something, and the voice, computer transmits the voice to the Android, and we can hear the voice from here, right? But the computer, they're converting the voice into the lip movement, and then we can have a perfectly synchronized lip movement. Okay, so this is a very interesting system. Okay, both the visitor and operator can adapt to this Android. So and adaptation means that the visitor naturally accepts this Android as myself, right? And I'm operating here, right? At the same time, I accept this Android body as my own body. Okay, so and I'm showing you the example of that. Here, someone is pushing the cheek of an Android. Unfortunately, Android cannot work, right? Android needs to sit, so but this is annoying, right? Right, but it is not just for that, right? But actually, we can have a very strong virtual feeling to be touched on the cheek, right? It's quite strong. Okay, no feedback. Right? There's no device on the cheek, but still, by watching the monitors, right, so we can have a very strong feeling to be touched. I'm going to explain a little bit about why we're going to have this kind of a phenomenon. So this is this is a kind of the brain functions. So the brain can accept the virtual body easily, if we see the synchronization. And why our brains works like that? Basically we don't know ourselves. I don't know myself. I guess you don't know yourself. You don't know your face. You don't know your voice. You don't know your behaviors. So every day, I guess every morning you are watching the mirror, right? You are checking your face. But mirror is not your face. Photograph is your face. If you compare the mirror image and photograph, they're completely different person, right? Because the human face is not symmetrical, okay? Therefore, the mirror image is, your face in the mirror is not your face. But you believe that is your face. But nobody watching that kind of face. Everybody watching the photograph face, okay? And how about the voice? If you record your voice by using the voice recorder, that is your voice. Now you're hearing your voice, right? Without voice recorder, that is not your voice, okay? And you don't know how your muscle moves. You cannot tell how your muscle moves, how your eyes moves, right? You are doing many things like this, but you cannot explain what are you doing. So human cannot have a perfect third person view. Okay, my eyes here. I cannot put my eyes here. No, right? It's impossible, right? Always the brain is guessing that our body properly moving. Okay, just guessing. Therefore, so we can easily accept this kind of Android bodies. Through the teleoperations, we can see the synchronization. Then, the brain just accept, this virtual body as our own bodies. Okay, so anyway, so by using this robot, this teleoperated Android, we can do the many interesting things. And actually, this will be a new media that transfer our presence to the distant place. Okay, and first, what I did is, Well, actually, I'm running the meetings with this robot in my laboratories. I have two laboratories. Well, one of the laboratory has this robot, and the other doesn't, right? And then, well, every week I have to go the another laboratories, but sometimes it's troublesome. Therefore I'm using this Android for having a meeting or for running meetings, and I don't have any problem, right? So the same as this situation, right? So of course, the Android does not have a brain and maybe, the organs, but, no, how we can check it? So did you check that, I have a brain here, or, I have a stomach or some the organs here? You didn't check it, right? The same situation here. So my appearance and the voice and, the talk, everything is here, right? But however, well, this laboratory is in a research institute, and the research institute say, they cannot pay for me. Right? It's strange, right? Why? So today I'm talking here. I'm not sure, I can get some money, but usually, you don't check, right? Who am I? Right? You just believe, I'm a human, and then pay some money, right? So this is a very philosophical, the questions. If we improve a little bit more, right? And it's going to be quite confusing, right? Nobody can distinguish which is which, okay? And then, but still, well, and what I want to say is we are just, why we can pay the money or pay the salary to the person? Because we believe, the person is a human, But you are just believing. You never check it, right? Well, in airport, we are checking, but in the universities and the companies, we never check it, right? We just believe each other. So, but everybody using the mobile phones, the smartphones, and many computers, right? We are crazy for the electric gadgets and the computers, but still, most fundamental things is to believe each other, right? It's quite the funny things. Okay. But if we build this kind of robot, we can have that kind of very important, the questions, curiosity. Of course, we have the conference, and the next time I'm very sure, I will send my Android to this city because I'm getting so many offers for the talks, and I cannot travel anymore. Well, but this works very well, what I'm doing. This was 2 years ago. I did this kind of a teleoperated conference in Australia. Astoria, in Linz. Right, it's very different. It's a European city, but the people could enjoy very much. Okay, we didn't have any problem. Okay, but the good memory from that, the conference was we had the blind person there, and he could enjoy to talk with me, right? And someone said that this teleoperated Android is a kind of a TV conference, but it's totally different, right? The TV conference is the same as the telephone for the blind people, but this is totally different. We can share the tactile sensations. This is much better. Okay, and before having the conference, what we did is a kind of field test. That we put the Androids in a corner of the cafe restaurant. Here is Android, and this is a normal, quite a normal the restaurant. Okay, and the half of the people they couldn't become aware of this, right? Probably they thought some strange Japanese is sitting over there. It is better not to go there. But another half of people, they found something wrong, and they come to check it. But once we start to talk, we didn't have any problem. I was in Japan. The robot was in Australia. Okay, and you could have a pretty good conversation. Right? We didn't have any problem, and I could have many friends by using this Android, right? So what I want to say here is, what is this? This is a kind of a big speaker, okay? Just big speaker. Can we use a big speaker in a restaurant? in a public place, it is not so good, right? It's bad manner, right? Especially in Japan, we cannot use big speakers in a public place, and of course, and in addition, we cannot use a mobile phone also. Okay, but if we put this human-like shape, onto the speakers or mobile phone, we can use it everywhere, anywhere. Even if on a train and a bus, we can use the big speakers and the mobile phone, right? So that if you want to use your speaker phone or mobile phone in a restaurant, why don't you put this human-like appearance to your mobile phone? Okay, so that is the meaning of human-like appearance. Human-like appearance has a very, very strong meaning for the humans. Okay. So the three of us that we have, our surrogates and the androids, and well, this is my android and this is her android, and what we did is that we just put the three androids in the same room, and and we interpreted androids from different places, and we checked our feeling, but we didn't. It was quite okay, no problem, right? So you may be an android, you were just sitting, and the same as these androids, right? So that it's easy to replace you with android. Okay, so I'm not checking who you are, right? So that is a possibility. Okay, so then I thought that this is good, right? So that probably and we can develop much better humans based on these technologies. So I wanted the study about a kind of a maximum humans. It's a beautiful face, beautiful, elegant movement, and some sort of very clever talking. And then probably we're going to have a very good human. So that was the next challenge. But unfortunately, my face is not so beautiful, I guess. Therefore, I have hired another beautiful model. Right? She's quite beautiful, and she has a very good smiling face and angry face also. And the problem was how we can give the perfect talking. Right? But our idea was to make the Android theaters. So the 1 month ago, we are here with this Android theaters. We played this Android theater in the another big theaters in Melbourne. I guess you remember that. And I worked with the very famous director Orisa Hirata, and he provided me a pretty good scenario. Right? This is a very how can I say that? Dramatic scenario, and this is this is Android. This is not Android. She is the actress, a human actress. Okay, and she's going to die soon. Then her daddy they give her this Android as a conversation partners, and they are talking about the human happiness and some sort of a human likeness also. And we have played this Android theater in a cathedral, right? Because this was a very important challenge for me. Okay, the church is very important for the human. Okay, so when we got some the question about our humanity or human itself, usually we go to the church. Okay, so therefore, if the church accepts this Android theater, probably Android is getting close to the humans more. And actually, it was a very good success. This is the biggest church in Linz, and this is a cathedral, right? And we played this Android theaters, right? And everybody, loved to see this Android theater in a cathedral, and many people actually cried because this was so dramatic. And however. Maybe the 70% people said, this is a so beautiful human. Well, this is Android, but everybody knows that this is not, the humans. But still, they say that she is very beautiful. But 30%, the 70% people are okay, but 30% people said that this is not so human-like. So beautiful, too beautiful. Human is more complicated. Human is has more some dirty stuff, and she's so clear, or she looks like a Mario. So my purpose was to build a human, not build a god, right? But many people say that this looks like a god, Mario. Okay, so and I will say again here, the perfect Android human is not so human-like. Okay, always, especially for the women, that they try to be a perfect, but I don't recommend. You're gonna be a kind of a god, right? So the question is, what is more human-like? So this is my answer. The human, they interact with others by using the imagination. Well, just one picture cannot represent that person. Okay, so in order to identify the person, so we have access to the many modalities, right? We identify the persons based on the appearance, of course, but they're based on the voice also, and the snare, and facial expressions. The many factors we have. So roughly speaking, that means we have imagination about the person. Okay, so that is our way to identify the other people, other person. And the question is how we can maximize that kind of imaginations. So if we give minimal design minimal design as a human to the robot, probably that kind of a minimal design can maximize the imagination about people. Actually, it works very well. So this robot, actually this one, this is I believe this is a kind of a minimal design of a human. This looks like a human, of course, but you cannot tell the age and gender, right? And so there is a design principle for having this kind of a very neutral the appearance. Anyway, so once we hear the voice from this robot or this robot, so here is the child is operating and the child is talking through the internet. So when we hear the voice, right, usually we have an imagination about the speakers, and then we can mentally project that imagination onto the neutral appearance, and then we can have a pretty good the conversation. And actually, this robot works very well. Works very well especially for the elderlies. Elderlies loves to talk with this robot. So the many elderlies, they don't like to talk to the human, okay? Especially for the Japan. Well, this kind of things that happens everywhere. If we get very old, we hesitate to talk with adult, right? But they never hesitate to talk with this robot. Right? Usually they don't talk so much, but when we give this robot to the elderlies, they never stop to talk. Just keep talking. This kind of things happens for everybody, right? Well, and we are running this experiment in Japan and Australia and Denmark. So Denmark is the most famous country for the welfare system, and Denmark is they're going to have a similar situation to Japan. They're going to have many elderlies living around in the local areas, but they don't have enough number of volunteers and medical doctors, and they are seriously thinking to use this robot. Right? If we make a phone call to the elderly, and just after the phone calls, they feel very strong loneliness. But with this one, they can feel the presence of the speaker, the presence of the persons, and they don't feel the loneliness anymore. So we have checked already, and now we are seriously developing the service model, how we can use this robot in a daily way. So now and someone is operating. So Terry, can you say something? Can you say something? No?
Hello, audience. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, anyway, so I think, and after this, you can have a chat with the Terranoid, and this is, the pretty good. Well, and And one more thing, well, this time I'm bringing the more in the simpler version of the terenoid. This is a hugby. Okay, the most important thing is to give a hug, the tactile sensation and talking. The two factors is quite important to feel the presence of the person. Okay, this is a very simple one. The simple one. This is a kind of a mobile smartphone holder. If you are using a smartphone, please try to use this one. And by using this, you can talk like this. Okay, right? And then you can feel the very strong presence of the speaker, another person. Okay, this one works very well. And that this is another one. We don't have this one, but we are simulating here. What we are doing is we are simulating the heartbeat. Right? This is quite good. I mean, this is more human-like. So anyway, so we got a big success with this design. Then I have decided to make it the mobile phone. Okay, so this is a mobile phone. And actually, this is just a model, But I have the real prototype in Japan. And unfortunately, this mobile phone cannot be used in this country. Therefore, this time I just bring the model. But my question is, what is the meaning of this? Well, the smartphone. This smartphone is just a small computer, right? If we look at the talking function is the same as the previous phone, right? No progress for the talking function. Talking function is just transmitting the voice. But what we want to do is we want to transmit our presence to the distant place. Okay? If we give this kind of a shape to this smartphone, we can transmit our presence to the distant place. If we hear for example, my daughter's voice from here, I can feel my daughter's presence in my hand. Right? That is the idea, right? So this is much better. Okay? So, and this is just black box. Okay, so you are talking to the black box. I guess it's crazy, right? So if your baby is talking to the black box, I strongly recommend you take your baby to the hospital, right? But this is more natural. This looks like a human. Okay, so we have a brain to talk to the human-like stuff. Okay, so in the near future, what we want to have is this kind of scene. Everybody going to use the this mobile phone, and we can feel our presence each other, and we don't feel the loneliness anymore. So anyway, so this is the okay. I think I don't have time to explain what's happened here, but see, when we hear the voice from here, and we can feel the presence of the other persons. But when we are not talking, okay, so this one will be a kind of a part of our body. This one will be myself. And if she doesn't like him, she never do this. Okay, but if she like him very much, she can do whatever, right? Whatever she wants, right? So that the way, if we, this is the natural way to exchange information. Okay, if she could give a hug to the mobile phone, the mobile phone exchange the email address or something, right? This is more natural, right? The iPhone is actually this is iPhone, and the iPhone said that this is a manual freeze, but actually we have to read the manual, or we have to ask the help to our friends, right? It's quite difficult to use this one, but this is this is just human, right? We don't need to read any manual, right? This is quite natural, okay? It's more intuitive, I think. So anyway, someday we may build artificial humans. Okay, so actually in my lab, we are doing many things, and this is just one example. We are studying about the human developmental process, and we are developing a very, very complicated robots that has the function for self-development and self-running, and by integrating the this kind of technologies and the human-like Android technologies, someday I guess we're gonna have the very human-like the robot, and someday the boundary between the human and the machine that disappears. Right. So this is the way of a human evolution, I think. So by developing new technologies, we are able, we got another way for the evolution, our evolutions. Okay. Then we're going to change the definition about humans. Okay, for example, 200 or 300 years ago, if the person does not have legs and arms, then we couldn't accept that person as a human. But today, of course, we accept, even if, the person has the artificial arms and legs. Okay, right? We are changing the definition of human. We are, looking for the final, a kind of final definition of humans, by developing new technologies, by replacing our body with machine. Okay, so then probably someday we're gonna answer to this very important question for us: what is a human? What is heart and mind? So I have a hypothesis. So we believe each other that we have a heart and mind, and then and we believe each other that we are humans. We just believe each other, right? And if robots do the same things. And someday, I'm going to replace you with Android. And if, the people accept you, so suppose you're Android, if people accept you as a human, okay, then, the robot can have a heart and mind. So anyway, so this is my last message. So, I'm attending to the art festival this time, and actually, this is a quite artistic work. Right, I guess you agree with me, right? So, I have designed this, the robot based on my intuitions, based on my nighttime dream, right? And then, we are running the field test, and then so actually the artistic mind can create new technologies. But once we create new technologies, that we can use this robot for the next artistic work, right? So we are iterating the artistic work and the technology development, right? So and the both, the artistic work and the technology development, we need to do the both things, right? So that we cannot divide art and technologies anymore. Because that is my last message. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think it's time for the questions, and for the simple questions, probably the Terranoid will answer to the questions. And if you have just a simple questions, please come up to the stage and and talk to the Terranoid.
I was just wondering about not only people being able to project themselves into a media of an android, but also into virtual media and spatial kind of concepts and areas. And is that similar work, or is it totally different how humans do that?
Basically, what I want to do is, today, many people are using the computer so much, and they're living in a kind of a virtual world. I think that is not so healthy. But on the other hand, of course, the physical world is important. But we want to have something in between, virtual world and physical world. And I want to provide that kind of a little bit different world with this kind of technologies. So we need to have the most important thing is to have selections, the huge selections from the virtual to the real, right? For example, elderly sometimes like to stay in a virtual world, but sometimes it's better to live in the physical world, right? The worst case is just have a very extreme the two worlds, virtual and the physical. But if we can prepare the intermediate, the intermediate world, so people can easily move from the virtual to the real or real to the virtual, and the people can enjoy the technologies, I guess. So that is my policy.
Hi, we went to a screening of a documentary last year about the singularity, and they were predicting in that documentary that it would be about 20 years before robots became human-like. Do you think that's about right?
Yeah, well, if we carefully choose the purpose and the situations, the robot can be a very human-like. As I have shown the example, the show windows, and it's quite be a human-like, and the theater is also. We could have the pretty good success to replace a human actress with the android, right? And sometimes Android is much better for playing the theaters, right? So then, we're gonna have Android can have more jobs, right? And someday, I'm not sure, when Android can totally replace you, but and someday, that's a possibility, right? But what I can say is that kind of things happens already, but not so everywhere. But it's from the just particular situations. But, okay. So, who want to try to use the terminal? Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask the telephone.
Yeah. Okay. No, wait, come up here. Please. Okay. How about you? And Janet, are you okay? Are you ready for talk?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hi, Solenoid. Nice to meet you too.
What's your name?
I'm Gemma.
Hi, Gemma.
Have you enjoyed Melbourne so far?
I have. It's a little bit cold.
A bit cold because it's so hot in Japan right now.
Everything's so hot in Japan.
You're too right. So, how have you liked being developed by Professor Ishiguro?
Well, it's pretty wonderful. I can't really believe I exist.
Good answer.
Good answer.
I mean, can you?
No, it's pretty weird. Quite frankly, chatting to you up here on this stage. Well, people, do you want to say hi to everyone again?
I'd love to. If I wave, will they wave back?
I reckon they will.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
But
Look, they're
this is
waving.
not the usual situation, right? Okay. Usually, this is more personal device, right?
But Telenoid, I understand you can give hugs.
I love hugs.
Can I give you a hug?
Gemma, do you think we know each other well enough?
Look, I've known you for about 30 seconds, but yeah, I reckon that's okay. Hugs?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
This is
Thank
very
you,
cute.
Telenoid.
Right?
Nice to meet you, Gemma.
Lovely to meet you too.
Thank you very much. I think we can have more questions. Okay.
After that conversation that was so placid and nice, you brought up that movie before, that Surrogates one, where Bruce Willis has that really bad fringe. And I just wanted to know, because in that movie, because you were saying, that was partially sort of your vision of the future, we'd be walking and robots would be among us. If you see that movie, it's kind of like the bad things that could happen. Do you ever worry about all this technology that you're sort of pouring your life into, that maybe someday someone might use it for bad purposes?
Okay, well, I'm a scientist and engineer, so that, my role is to do something new. My most important role is to develop something new, right? But we cannot say what is bad, what is good for the new things. It's just unknown things, right? My role is to bring the new technologies, right? For example, the nuclear technologies, nuclear technologies, they can generate the powers, but on the other hand, it's going to be a kind of a bomb, right? So always, the new things change our life very much, and in the both ways, good way and bad ways, right? And so it's a matter of society. Society needs to carefully discuss how to use the technologies. But without the technology, we cannot discuss about that, right? So eventually you have accepted the internet and the computers. Is that good or not? For example, internet. Do you know who is the heavy users for the internet? It's the sex industry, right? So many people are downloading the stupid movies, right? Okay, but 70% the traffic is for that kind of things. Okay, that that kind of a kind of a bad use is sustaining and supporting the progress of internet technologies. Okay, so that always we want to have two ways, and that means that is the real technologies. Okay, so that is the technologies. So what I want to say is fundamentally that is the future. The future of technology, I think. But about my work, and teleoperated Android. I guess I can consider, there are many good way to use that, right? And it's convenient for me. For example, I'm here, but I can teach my class in Japan, even if I'm traveling in foreign countries, right? Then if I get old, definitely I want to use my Android for teaching my class, right? And it's easy, right? I just pre-record it and pre-record my lectures and replay that. And in Japan, the students never ask questions. They are very kind, very, very kind for the teachers and quiet, right? It's easy, right? Well, however, there is a possibilities. Bad student may control, right? My Android and do some stupid things, right? The same things happen in the computer network. It's a hacking, right? We may think about the robot hacking, right? And eventually, in Hong Kong, I know just one company. They already started that kind of a service, where they start to think, that kind of service. And so, my answer is a yes. Probably people are gonna use in a bad way, but it's okay, right? And always the society control that. We're gonna try to make a good balance, to good ways and bad ways, and then you just keep developing more better technologies.
One of the things that people always say when you talk to them about robots, and when we were preparing for you to come to give this talk, talking to lots of people about the idea of robots and humans becoming more and more similar. And there's always a point where people go, oh, God, that's creepy. There's that kind of feeling of discomfort, or that uncomfortable feeling. What do you think that's all about? What's behind that? Why do people have that reaction?
The uncanny valley, but probably you're asking a kind of uncanny valley stuff. Do you know the uncanny valley? No? Okay. Uncanny valley, it's when the robot getting very close to the human, we suddenly have a really negative, very negative impressions. When we look at the zombies are quite uncanny, because the zombie has a very human-like appearance, but the movement is very jerky, right? I guess your question is at that point. I'm just guessing, right? That is a quite important thing. In order to survive in this world, it's quite important to distinguish the human and others, right? Therefore, we have that kind of brain function to have uncanny, uncanny feelings when the robot is getting very close to the humans. But on the other hand, that means the robot is very close to the human. If a robot is very different from the humans, we never have that kind of uncanny feeling. Or, for example, the mechanical-looking robots, that is not uncanny, right? So, the same things happens for among the people. And for example, in my case, right, in Japan, we don't see any. 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, we didn't see the black people in Japan. Okay, therefore, it was quite strange for me, right, to accept the I couldn't understand who they are, right? But once we talk, right, of course, we can accept, right? We could familiar each other, right, and we could overcome that kind of feeling. So that, and there are two things. So basically, we are very sensitive to that kind of the human or robot. That is just a little bit different from the normal or other standard people or the standard human, okay, or human-like robot. But if we spend some time, 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, we're gonna accept any kind of the robots, even if that is so uncanny. If you spend 1 year, you will be very, very familiar with that. Okay, I'm very sure about that. And why we want to have I think that is the reason. In order to survive in this world, that is a very, very basic brain operation.
So with the telenoid, you went left on the uncanny valley. You went away from humans. Are you still working towards getting closer, moving up the upside of the uncanny valley, like in your secret workshops?
Well, and telenoids is, it depends on, if you, for example, elderlies in the videos, they don't feel any uncanny things with the telenoid. But the telenoid is a little bit different, right? And this looks like a human, but we have never seen this kind of a human. Therefore, this is creepy. But this is a little bit different from the zombie. Zombie is more uncanny, right? And actually, when I developed my first Android, it was quite uncanny. I don't have a video here, but what I want to say is, this is different. But if this robot has jerky movement like this, it's quite uncanny, right? And actually, my first Android was my daughter's copy, and at that time, I don't have enough money for developing the human-like inside the mechanism, and the movement was quite jerky, unfortunately. And at that time, it was my daughter scared very much, and actually she cried. Okay, but after that, I could develop the much better, human-like inside the mechanism, and as you can see here, the robot is not uncanny anymore, right? So I think we could overcome the uncanny valley with this one, but this is, I guess, it's a different story. Yeah. All right. I think it's a time to stop then. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.